There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on.
When you find people who need your help, you help them, no matter what.
Good luck.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello tonight.
Just me.
Have you been with us before?
First time.
Oh, you picked a great night.
Where are you going, Master? For a drink?
I get all worked up. Silly. It's a party.
Hello there. Welcome to a very special edition of the Nerdy Cantina. This is a show where we talk about all things Star Wars, and what better way to get an early start to Star Wars Day, which is on May the 4th, be with you, hence the reason we're doing this on Friday, May the 2nd of 2025, than to talk about all things Star Wars. We even have someone who's going to be joining us here in a moment that was boots on the ground in Star Wars Celebration Japan. Konnichiwa. And we got someone who's got more lightsabers than one can handle. We got someone who has one-way out t-shirts roaming around, bunch of Lego sets. We got something for everybody. So if you have any thoughts, feelings, opinions about Star Wars, everything is fair game tonight, whether it's the books, the video games, the comic books, the movies, the TV series, anything and everything Star Wars it's up for grabs. It's going to be, as a person, one might say, this is where the fun begins. I'm your host, Ryan of Anti Quote Channel, and we can't do a discussion about Star Wars without having the Dutch Star Wars guy in the studio. Please welcome One Way Out. Case Cornelisa is in the building. Hello, Case. How are you?
Hello. May the 4th be with us all. I'm very much looking forward to this podcast and for pretty much the entire month of May because, it's not just one day. It's, as far as I'm concerned, the entire month.
Yeah. It's a long, extended month. That is for sure. Also joining us here in the studio, someone who is no stranger to this forum. She's no stranger to the galaxy far, far away. And she's got 4 sabers in her arsenal. So if anyone gets in her way, she's got plenty of weaponry at her disposal. Hello, Snips. How are you?
Hello, everyone. I'm good. Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
You should be. It's Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's your bread and butter. Always two,
yeah.
right? There's no more. There's no less. There's a master, which in this case is moi, and an apprentice, which is you. You're a Snips. You're the apprentice, and it's great. It's awesome. But you just don't seem to be any ordinary Jedi. You're no Jedi. But it's going to be cool nonetheless to have you here, Snips. And if you got four sabers roaming around that you want to share with the worldwide audience, let us know. But in the meantime, please say to someone who was boots on the ground. She's gone through the Clone Wars. She's joined up with a band of rebels. She's joined the crew on the Ghost ship and Spectre 1, all this other kind of stuff. And she's got all the exclusives. Oh, yeah. From Star Wars Celebration Japan. Please welcome, in my book, Experience Outranks Everything. Angel is back, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, nerdy girl. How are you?
I am good, mostly recovered from jet lag and back to life here in the U.S. But yeah, excited to share all of my incredible experiences from Star Wars Celebration, which was 2 weeks ago already, which is so crazy.
Yeah, people posting online, why is it already, why it's been a week? How can that be? That's not true. Or has it been 2 weeks? That's not simply not true. That's impossible. But you got to search your feelings, Angel. You know it to be true. I had to do it. I had to do it. I had to do it. The movie turns 45 this year, folks. But with that being said, going to turn things over to the panel. But once again, if you're watching this, do not forget to like and share. And if you're joining us live or what is known as a replay, Memorex, thank you and welcome and hello there. So with that being said, Angel, I gotta ask, what was your very first, going back to every saga has a beginning, experience with Star Wars?
My first experience with Star Wars, I think I was 5. My dad tried to show me A New Hope, and I saw the opening scene with R2 and C-3PO, and I was terrified of C-3PO, and I refused to watch the movie. My first, positive experience with Star Wars, though, was watching The Phantom Menace with my dad. Again, my dad and I have kind of a long history of Star Wars, and he's kind of my Star Wars buddy. He was watching The Phantom Menace, and he was watching the pod racing scene in his den, and he always would keep the door cracked open when he would watch movies, and every once in a while I would kind of hear something interesting when he would be watching a movie, and I would peek in, and so I heard the pod racing scene, and I kind of peeked in, and I was intrigued. I was like, what's going on? And at this point I think I'd seen the original trilogy, but I don't remember ever really watching them when I was younger. This is my first core memory. And he was like, oh, this movie is about young Darth Vader. And I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And this pod racing scene looks cool. And I sat down and watched the remainder of the movie with him, which he had to kind of explain the beginning of it. But that was my first very positive Star Wars experience. And from there I watched the prequels and kind of fell in love.
Awesome sauce. All right. I dig it. What about you, Snips? What was your very first experience with Star Wars? Does it have something to do with the Clone Wars and how you got your nickname, or is it before the Clone Wars even happened? What's going on here?
I was around 10, 11, and my parents wanted to show me all the classic films, so it was time to watch Star Wars, but then they heard that a new Star Wars film was coming out, so instead of watching all the originals, they were like, all right, let's go have a nice day at the movies. And I specifically remember it was New Year's Eve 2015, and I went to go see The Force Awakens, and then I think 2 days later I forced my whole family to show me everything. So then I watched all the prequels and the original trilogy, but yeah, it was The Force Awakens that started it in theaters, and I had a blast, and that changed everything.
You know what? In December, we are going to be doing the 10-year anniversary watch-along of The Force Awakens, and I think it's fair to say Chrissy should have a seat at the table when we do the showcase. I think we're going to save her a VIP ticket for that.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be there front row center when we celebrate the 10-year anniversary of The Force Awakens, which is a valid point and a good entry point, too. If I do say so myself, I saw it 6 times in the theater. I got no regrets. Which I know I'm kind of giving away spoilers here. I saw it 6 times, whatever. But I'm just curious, though. Case, what was your first experience with Star Wars? Was it a TV series or was it one of the movies?
Definitely one of the movies. I have the feeling that out of the ones so far, I was introduced the earliest, at least in terms of movies. My introduction is the movie that we're going to watch here in about 4 weeks' time, Empire Strikes Back. That was, for some reason, the one that I saw first. I don't know why it was, but I just remember that we put it on, and we got to the scene on Hoth, the Battle of Hoth, and I was just looking at it like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. I still, to this day, cannot believe how great it looks. I think, in my opinion, it holds up. We'll talk about this, of course, with the watch-along, but essentially, I fell in love with the universe, the characters in Empire. Then I decided to watch all the movies that had been released up until that point, which was the original trilogy, maybe The Phantom Menace, and that's about it. And yeah, I really enjoyed that. And yeah, I've been a Star Wars fan for well over 20 years, maybe 25 even. It's been a part of my life ever since. I absolutely adore the universe.
Yep, you're definitely going to be here for that Empire watch along. Yeah. I mean, you only designed the thumbnail and you're like a huge champion of it, so it makes sense.
It's my favorite movie. What can I say, Ryan?
It is. I get it. I completely get it. And it's valid too. It's 1,000% valid. I mean, attack pattern Delta. Just go now. But anyway, sorry, had to give it away, guys. Had to give it away. But it's funny because I remember as a youngling, right? That's the term. So as a youngling, I remember my brothers introduced me to these VHS tapes, these giant little brick things that you used to put in a VCR. Anybody ever heard of a VCR in this room? Probably some of you. So I remember watching it, but my really core memory that stands out when it comes to one of my first experiences of Star Wars was I remember being at a friend's house one night and I was hanging out with him. I think we were playing like flag football, whatever it was, outside in his front yard, right? And my dad's car pulls up. He says, "Ryan, you better get home. We're going to be leaving soon." And he said, "Why? What's going on?" And then he says the line incorrectly because everyone says it wrong. He says, "Luke, I am your father." And I'm like, "Oh my God, we're going to see Star Wars." So I hightail it back home. I jump in the soccer mom van that we had at the time. Yes, we live in the suburbs. It's a family of 5. You're going to be driving around in a van. Okay, it happens. So we took the van. We went to the Center Theater in Baltimore, in Maryland, where I'm from, right? And we drove down there. We saw the re-releases of the original films from 1997. So this is the special edition trilogy that they did back in 97, more specifically. And I remember going to the theater, seeing New Hope, Empire, Return, all 3 of them. And I thought, oh my dear Lord, this is awesome stuff. It's fun. It's exciting. There's never a dull moment. Like, it keeps moving, right? The movies they keep moving. They hold your attention. So that was one of the memories I have of experiencing Star Wars on the big screen. And it was the original trilogy. Now, granted, some people are, it's divisive on who you ask. Some people like the special editions. Some people don't care, and that's fine. But I enjoyed every minute of it. I soaked it up like a sponge. So that was one of the first. That was like one of my first core experiences I had with the Galaxy Far, Far Away. And then, eventually that led to other things within the fandom as well. But aside from that, that was my first experience with it. So once again, if you just joined us and wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on, this is a special edition of Nerdy Cantina doing a May the 4th be with you special celebrating all things Star Wars. Do not forget to like and share. If you're joining us live or on a replay, thank you. And hello there. If you have any memories about this franchise, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. I'm more than happy to take those as they come in. And thank you to everybody who has liked and shared this thus far. I cannot do it without you. That was a lot of stuff. So, Christy, what's what's your favorite character? Just out of curiosity. I mean, I think I know the answer, but I'm just curious. Favorite character. This is like picking your favorite child, but still.
My 2 favorites are, of course, Ahsoka and then Anakin.
Mm.
Those 2 are my faves.
Mm. Why is that?
Love them so much.
Why is
that? Anakin was before I watched any of the shows. I remember watching the prequels for the first time, and I was just like, "That's it. He's gonna be my favorite character." And then since then, he just has. I think his whole storyline is amazing. I love the fact that he's like the chosen one and everything about it. And then I just adore Ahsoka and everything she does from the moment I watched Clone Wars for the first time. She's just the best, especially with growing up with her, because a lot of the time as I watched the show, she was the same age as me. And I think she's just a big inspiration. And she's fierce, but she's also kind and awesome. I like to call her my warrior, so I always try to be like her.
Kind of like your spirit animal?
Yeah.
You can say it. It's fine. I mean, spirit animal, I know people use that term a bit loosely these days, but still, if you want to call it that, it's fine. All good things. All good things. Just out of curiosity case, one way out. Who's your favorite Star Wars character or characters if you want to cheat like Snips did and name 2?
The thing is, it's very difficult to pick favorites, and the thing is, for the longest time, it used to be Darth Vader / Anakin Skywalker. I really enjoyed the arc, where he starts. At least, I'm not the biggest fan of his character in The Phantom Menace, but especially when the Clone Wars starts, the Clone Wars did Anakin so many favors. I really enjoyed the way that they portrayed him in the Clone Wars and how that grows into Darth Vader. And of course, I grew up with the original trilogy. I really loved Darth Vader as a villain. He's one of the most iconic villains of all time, but he comes back at the end when his son saves him. But then there was this little show that is about 11 years old right now called Star Wars Rebels. But this is literally only Funko I own from Hera Syndulla, because she is a truly special character that I was not aware how much that would impact me, how much her as a character would impact me. I think she is an absolutely fearless, ruthless at times, but very compassionate person. She's a great leader. You can see how she leads the Ghost Crew, how she becomes Phoenix leader, how she becomes a general, how she rises through the ranks in the Rebellion and eventually the New Republic. I think both actresses who've played her, with Vanessa Marshall voicing her in Rebels, and then Mary Elizabeth Winstead portraying her in Ahsoka, I think they've done a phenomenal job, and I just adore the character. And the funny thing is, like, this quote keeps coming up in your shows. I think it was in Angel's interview, it was in Pau's interview, and you have it in one of your intros for Star Wars, where we have hope that things can get better, and they will. It's just truly one of the greatest quotes of all time, and Hera said that in Star Wars Rebels, and yeah, she's just an amazing character. So I actually think that by this point, Hera has overtaken Vader as my favorite character, as a hardcore original trilogy fan.
Oh my. All right. I dig it, man. I dig it. I love it. I love it. All the passions coming out during these conversations. I love it, fans. Just out of curiosity, though, Angel, do you have a favorite character or characters if you want to pull a Snips and Co. and just cheat on every question? Are there multiple characters that you enjoy, or can you pick a favorite, or is it too hard?
Too hard. It's too hard. And it's funny, I'm gonna borrow from both Christy and Kess here. Is that how you say your name? Kess? Is that right?
Case.
Okay. Sorry about that. But I appreciate you guys' answers, because my three favorite characters are Ahsoka, Hera, and Kanan. Which, I mean, Rebels is literally my favorite thing that's ever existed in the history of ever. So that and then Clone Wars being a very, close second to that. I was invested in Star Wars after watching the prequels and the films, but Star Wars didn't really become such a massive part of my life until I watched the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars genuinely changed my life. And I talk about this a lot on my page, but I watched Clone Wars during a very dark time of my life, and I watched it during the pandemic when I was struggling a lot with my mental health in particular. And if you know anything about Ashley Eckstein, who is the wonderful person who voices Ahsoka Tano, she's a huge advocate for mental health and talks a lot about how she believes that Ahsoka has impacted her and so many other people in terms of being a light and being a character that brings a lot of hope to people. And that's exactly what Ahsoka did for me. She really inspired me. And honestly, I say this pretty frequently, but I don't even know if I would be here today without Ahsoka. And I'm so grateful for her character and the huge impact that she's had. And then going on to talk about Rebels is a very similar concept for me. Rebels is literally, like, in a sense, when I talk about the Ghost Crew, are like family to me, and I'm really blessed to actually have some of the people behind these characters as people who are now in my life, and I'm truly just, that's an incredible thing to even say. And as was already said, Hera is just such an incredibly strong character. She's so fearless, she's so bold. I love her passion. And then when it comes to Kanan, I genuinely believe he's one of the best Jedi that ever lived. I love how he embodies what the Jedi were truly supposed to be, and especially when he goes through the arc at the beginning of season 3, where he loses his sight and has to learn how to trust in the Force to be able to literally see his character just truly become something that is so special and so unique in Star Wars. And so the three of them, I would, if I had to pick between the three, I would say Ahsoka, but it's so hard at this point for me to pick between the three of them, and really the whole Ghost Crew, because they're just so near and dear to my heart. So they will always and forever be my faves. And I feel like Ahsoka kind of counts as like almost like an honorary member of the Ghost Crew. So like if I can just say the Ghost Crew plus Ahsoka, I feel like that like sums it up.
Well, she was Fulcrum for a while there, so let's not forget about that. I mean, Fulcrum, Spectre 1 through 5 or 6, and then you got Fulcrum coming in at the end there. It's like, well, we'll let you on the ship. You count. It's cool. It's fine. No, great picks by everybody here. For me, I'm going to kick it back to what is known as the OG trilogy. I'm going to say two of my favorite characters, especially Alec Guinness's iteration of Obi-Wan is just it's so iconic. It's so iconic, right? So I got to give Sir Alec Guinness. We miss you, good sir, for sure. Obi-Wan Kenobi, and I was going to say Yoda, but now that I've read the book and it gives me an appreciation for him as a character, and also he pops up at the end of one show, and he's been one of the greatest actors for like 50 years. I'm going with Qui-Gon. I really like Qui-Gon a lot. I really do. And if you haven't had a chance to read Master and Apprentice, written by our good friend Claudia Gray, treat yourself. Read that book, because it's one of the best things since sliced bread. Hashtag, those are the facts of this case, and they are undisputed. So I'm going with Qui-Gon because, when it comes to the prequels, my favorite is, this is going to shock everybody, my favorite is Phantom Menace, and it's because of the relationship between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan. I know people are going to throw me under the bus for this, and it's fine. I'm used to being in the minority. I get it. But still, my favorite of the prequels is Phantom. And now that I've read the book, it gives me a little bit of an understanding why that Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan have these differences during the movie, right? You notice they're having a little bit of friction there. So if you haven't read the book, check out the book. It's really good. And Claudia Gray's brilliant. She's a brilliant writer. She has been for years. But yeah, Qui-Gon is a boss. I may not be wearing my Qui-Gon shirt right now, folks. I'm wearing the Jedi Code shirt that Case doesn't really like very much, but it's fine. But Qui-Gon's really deep. He questions everything. Like, he thinks about everything differently. He questions everything differently. It's just fascinating. It's just a fascinating character. So if you don't know much about Qui-Gon, read the books, check out the book, watch Phantom Menace again after you've read the book. Then you understand. It's like, oh, so this is why he goes about things this way. Okay, cool. And one of the things I really like about Qui-Gon, this is because you guys mentioned quotes here about, Hera having that iconic quote, which is great, by the way. I'm not going to slouch that. Qui-Gon has this thing in Phantom Menace where he says, your focus determines your reality. And when you think about that, when you really think about that, that speaks volumes. It's deep stuff, folks. See, Star Wars, it's not your typical, oh, this is just a Hollywood blockbuster. No. It makes you think, brothers and sisters. Yes. So your focus determines your reality is one of my all-time favorite quotes. It is just flipping good. That's all I got to say. So it would be Obi-Wan Kenobi, Qui-Gon, and then, third, by the way, he's no third wheel, but if I had to pick a third wheel, Yoda. Yoda's great. He's been the master of everything. So, judge me by my size, do you? Not this crude matter. I mean, come on. It's Yoda. You can't say no. But yeah, Yoda's great. All his wisdom is great. When he's testing Luke and he's questioning him about things, and Luke's unsure of himself and all that jazz in the swamps of Dagobah, which we're going to be talking about more so, right, Case, with the Empire Strikes Back watch along in a couple of weeks. It really hits you. It really does. It hits you. It makes you think a lot more about things. So I'll just leave it at that. So yeah, there you go, Snips. You made me cheat on my own question. I named 3. I should have named 1, but you had to make me name 3.
Yep. Hey, I didn't make you.
Well, whatever. You used your Jedi mind tricks, whatever it was. You bribed me with 20,000 Republic credits, whatever it was.
Ryan, none of us just mentioned 1. We all mentioned several.
No, it's fine. It happens. We all cheated. It doesn't matter.
Gonna throw it under the bus.
It's great. No, it's fantastic. We all win here. There are no losers. But yeah, those are some of my favorite characters. So with that being said, here's a question. I want to take things in a little bit of a different direction here. And once again, this is the Nerdy Cantina. Don't forget to like and share. If you're joining us live or on a replay, thank you and hello there. If you have any thoughts about Star Wars, drop it in the comments. Drop it in the chat. We love hearing from you. Like, how would you rank the books? How would you rank the movies? All this other stuff. Let us know. What is one of, no. Let me rephrase this question. What is one of the first, if not the first that you can remember, Power Ranger, or not, oh God, why am I saying Power? Good Lord. I'm so sorry. It's been a long week. I don't even know what property I'm talking about. Star Wars. Sorry, not Power. I'm so sorry.
Wrong franchise.
Wrong property. Start that over, directors. Let's reverse that. But what? God.
Press that, reverse it.
Exactly. Thank you, Kate. You're the man with the Willy Wonka references today. But what is one of the first Star Wars collectibles you remember getting, Angel?
Gosh, that's a hard question.
I thought this was easy, but okay.
I'm trying to remember what my first Funko Pop was. I don't know if I can remember. I'm trying to think what my most like earliest big collectible was I would say probably the day that I found the Hera and Kanan Funko Pops. The pride of my collection, which is not unfortunately behind me here because my collection is large and spans multiple shelves. Is my original Rebels Funko Pop collection. I own every single one of the original Rebels Funko Pops from the Ghost Crew. There's a couple of them from the line that I don't have in terms of the villains and some of the Inquisitors, but that's my pride and joy. And I think that my first big find in terms of Funkos was at my local collectible store one day, and somebody had sold their Rebels collection. And unfortunately, by the time I got there, a couple of the other ones had already been sold, but they had Hera and Kanan. And I was beside myself. And back then they were only worth like $45. They're now worth a decent bit more. And so I managed to get those for a pretty good deal. And that was the start of my Rebels collection. And so I don't remember what my first Funko is, unfortunately, in terms of my Star Wars collection, because my first Funko actually wasn't a Star Wars Funko. But that is probably one of my like coolest early on memories. That was a few years ago, and from there the collection has grown and kind of overtaken my house, but I'm very proud of it.
So your collection probably spans like 30 or 50 shelves somewhere in your house or something like that. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a tad. But great answer, by the way. Great answer. Hera and Kanan. Gotta love those two. What about just out of curiosity, what about you, Snips? What was one of the first Star Wars collectibles you remember either buying or someone gifted it to, or whatever it was?
So I know with Funko Pops, my brother is a huge collector, so I don't even know because he would just buy me some Star Wars ones here and there. But I vividly remember when I was like 11, 12, I wanted a Star Wars shirt so bad. And the only one I could find that I liked was an R2-D2 shirt that was like in an R2-D2 like little container thing that's like yay big. So I still have that R2. I don't have the shirt anymore, but yeah, I remember that. And then I also remember I would go everywhere searching for like a more girly Star Wars shirt. And there was a comic book shop in Boston that had this purple shirt that I still wear to this day, but I vividly remember finding that. And then I think in terms of big collectibles, I think it's when I went to Disney for my 16th birthday and I got to build a droid. I think that was like the first like big real collectible, not just shirts, because I remember like, because I don't think shirts are that much of a fun collectible, but I think my first big one was probably my dear droid.
Aw. Building a droid. Sorry, I just had to say it that way once. But that's cool. That's really, really cool. I respect that. I really do. Building a saber is one thing at Galaxy's Edge, but building a droid is a totally different experience, right, folks? Am I saying that right? Yeah. All right, I'm getting nods from our kind panelists here in the studio, so I must be doing something right. What about you, Case? For one of the first collectibles you remember getting from Star Wars, or was it that saber you showed us earlier?
No, this saber is very new. I got this after a celebration 2 years ago. No, the first one, it goes back to The Empire Strikes Back, and it goes back to Legos, because everything does, of course, with me. It was actually the counterpart for this set. I mean, of course, this set is very new. But this was the original 1999 Lego Snowspeeder that I got as a birthday gift, but I really loved the set. And that was probably one of the reasons why I really enjoyed Empire, because I had that set and I was like, hey, I recognize this. That was really cool. But the funny thing is I actually just looked it up for a moment because I need to remind myself what was the earliest Snowspeeder, because I remember having that. And it was gray. It wasn't even white. It was a gray Snowspeeder, which is completely inaccurate. And if you look at it, it looks terrible, especially by today's Lego standards. But it will always have a special place in my heart, even though I don't own it anymore. I don't know even where the hell it went. But yeah, that was probably the earliest collectible that I can remember from Star Wars.
Snowspeeder being the wrong color. Doggone it. Hate when that happens. But that's cool, man. Building those Lego bricks. Everything is awesome. Sorry, when I think of Legos, I'm thinking of that Lego movie song. Does anybody remember that from 10 years ago? You remember that? Okay, cool. So at least I'm not alone in
11 years.
11 years. But 10, 11, it's it's relative. But yeah, everything is awesome. Anyway, so one of my first collectibles I have from Star Wars, that's the correct word here, Star Wars, that I remember having was there was a Power of the Force line that came out in the 90s. This was a line of toys. This was leading up to the release of Phantom Menace, a little indie film that came out in 99. And I remember getting the what is it called? Like 3.75-inch figures. Like they're not even a, what is it, like 4 inches tall? They're 3 3/4 inches tall, which I think is a weird size for an action figure personally. Why don't you just round up and call it 4 inches? But anyway, I remember getting the little action figures, whether it was Han Solo, I remember getting Obi-Wan Kenobi, I remember getting Luke Skywalker from, I don't think it was Empire. I think it was either Return of the Jedi or New Hope, I think it was. Yeah. So I just remember getting the little action figures. Those were some of the first things I remember getting. And then
was he black or was he white?
I think it was him on Tatooine.
Yeah, because if he's black, then it's Return of the Jedi.
No. I think it was the Tatooine outfit. It wasn't Return of the Jedi. Is what I'm thinking of. Is what I'm thinking of, Case, more specifically. So I remember having those action figures and playing around, because when you're a little kid, you use your imagination. Your imagination runs wild. I was like, pew, 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 blasting people, it's just. And then if I got a Han Solo figure, it's because I wanted to reenact the scene where he's just running around the Death Star screaming, and he just shoots a bunch of stormtroopers randomly. Does everybody remember that scene? And then he's just running away from them because apparently there's like too many of them. Even though in the original cut, I think there was only like 5 troopers in the room. Case, I don't remember, but it was like he's just running around, and Chewie's like where are we going? It was fun. But yeah, those are some of the first collectibles I remember having. In this case, were the action figures. Yeah, I mean, I do have. I think I have 1 or 2 of the newer stuff. What is it called? The Black Series from Hasbro. Is that what it is? Yeah. The Star Wars Black Series of figures. Those are cool figures, by the way. They're really detailed. Has anyone noticed that? Does anyone notice that about the Black Series? Yeah.
Pretty nice. I have about maybe like 8-ish. I got the whole the whole Ghost crew when they did that, and then I had to get Thrawn. Really? And then I found like K2SO for like $5 somewhere, so I picked them up.
$5.
Yeah, this is like actually this was like in November, and I was like, I want him, so I got him.
$5 for K2? Jeez, I would have thought a reprogrammed Imperial droid to be worth a lot more coin than that, don't you think?
Other thing that I have that is kind of cool, and it's something my mom. It is actually one of the original figures that they released in like the 80s. It's a little Darth Vader figure, and it's just like this little tiny one, the one that has like the extendable little red. I was checking to see if it's behind me on my shelf, but I think I put it in a drawer because my cat likes to play with some of the smaller things. But a little while ago, and she's had that ever since the movies came out. And so I have no idea like what the value on it or anything is. It's not like in a container or anything. It's like it's not in the packaging. Right. But I have that, and that's just like a cool thing because it kind of connects me to like my parents, who are still to this day massive Star Wars fans. And we get to go to a lot of cons together, stuff like that. My dad is actually a cosplayer. My dad cosplays Darth Maul. My mom cosplays Satine, which is ironic that the two of them, they actually very much enjoy cosplaying the fact that, Maul and Satine together, and have taken photos with the Darksaber that my parents own of my dad running my mom through with the Darksaber.
That is very ironic.
Oh my.
Star Wars together. So yeah, that's kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I don't hear these kinds of stories where the family cosplays together. Normally it's the son or the daughter or the granddaughter or the grandson, right? That gets into this sort of thing. But you and your family there, Angel, that bless your family's heart. Goodness gracious. That is, yeah. If you got any photos that you can send our way one of these days, let us know, because I would like to see how these outfits.
It's pretty submitting for the 501st soon, so. It's pretty good. It's pretty legit. He's going to be in the 501st before I'm going to be in the Rebel Legion, so I'm a little jealous, to be perfectly honest. But he's put in some decent work. He's learned a lot of skills at his age I never imagined he would learn, but I'm proud of him for that. And he's very passionate about it. Our next con that I'll be cosplaying at together is Fan Expo Chicago, where Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen are going to be there, and my dad will be taking a photo with Ewan McGregor in Maul cosplay. So I love that for him.
Oh my goodness. Is he I know it's going to be hard to do this in a crowded theater, but is he going to say Kenobi? Is he going to drop the You know,
he might try. It probably won't be very good, bless him, but he might try.
I mean, you know, if he drops the Sam Witwer Kenobi, I mean, I'd lose my mind, hypothetically. But that's great. Bless your family's heart. Keep up the good work. If there's any pictures you're willing to send us in the DMs or whatever, let us know. Love to see that. That's great. So congratulations to you and your family. That's wonderful. Goodness gracious, I wish my family were that into Star Wars like I am. But anyway, that notwithstanding, great answers for sure. But let's detour this a little bit. And now we posed this question a week ago or a week or so ago. So our good friend Pal. Pal, we wish you well. Hope everything's going well for you there, Pal. Wish you were here with us tonight, but we understand why, conflicts, all that stuff. Wish you well, of course. But favorite Star Wars movie, Christy, what is it?
I think my answer switches like every couple months. Like
every couple months.
I don't really know. Right now, Revenge of the Sith, and I think it's just because I just saw it in the theaters for the first time, so that was pretty cool. But I mean, for the longest time, I remember it being Return of the Jedi. And then I really liked, my brain, Revenge of the Sith. And then like when the year Solo came out, that was like my obsession. I love The Force Awakens. Like, I don't know. They're all it's so hard. It literally switches every month. But I think right now, just because everything with Revenge of the Sith is going on, that's my current favorite.
Understandably so. And then you got your good friend Hayden Christensen greeting you as you're watching before you even watch the movie. It's like, hello there, friends. Welcome to the 20th anniversary. Da, 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 da. And you're like, oh my gosh, Hayden, you haven't aged a day. The only thing that's changed is your hair's gotten a bit shorter. Isn't that weird? It's funny how that works. Hayden doesn't seem to. A lot of these actors don't seem to age, really, hardly at all. So, well done, Hayden Christensen. You got some good genes there, pal. Too bad not all of us are that lucky because, man, I mean, I got this Scruff McGruff, 5 o'clock shadow showing here. I'm showing my age. But still, Angel, do you have a favorite Star Wars movie that stands out to you? Is it Revenge of the Sith because it just turned the big 2-0 this week?
Mine flips between Phantom Menace and Revenge of the Sith. And so when Phantom Menace came out for their 25th anniversary, but now that I just recently got to rewatch and for the first time for me in theaters because I was only 6 years old and my parents weren't really super into Star Wars back then, and also just wouldn't let me watch that movie because of the scene at the end. And so this is the first time I saw it in theaters, and so right now I think I would say it's Revenge of the Sith, and then it just kind of flip-flops between those two because I have really good memories associated with both of them. And of course I do love Hayden Christensen a lot and have had the pleasure of meeting him a couple times. He's super sweet. So right now Revenge of the Sith, I did bawl my eyes out during that movie, but will I probably see it again? Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you posted a picture on your Instagram reels. You and Hayden did a little bit of a dance in your photo. He was kind of like, hello, kind of bowing or tipping you a little bit.
I asked him to dip me.
Dip me, yeah.
Super sweet, and he said yes. It was at GalaxyCon Columbus back in December, and he was like super sweet, and he was like, oh yeah, that's a great idea. And I was really nervous to ask him, but he said yes, and he like smiled at me the whole time, and I had to like make direct eye contact with him, and let's just say I felt my knees go a little bit. I was a little flustered as I walked out of that booth because in high school definitely Anakin Skywalker was a big and Hayden Christensen, big celebrity crush for me. So I love Hayden. I love him. And he's such a great guy. I'm so happy to see him get so much love, especially at these past two celebrations. See how much he is adored and appreciated by his fandom, and makes me happy.
Oh, man, all these memories. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. I mean, Case, I know it's a silly question that no one should ever ask you at all, but I'm pretty sure the answer is Empire Strikes Back at this point, right?
It's the thing, I already said this. So that's not interesting. The thing, like, I'm just going to say this because the thing is, this is a movie that everyone always says, or hardly anyone ever says is their favorite Star Wars movie. And I think it's up there. It's my second favorite behind Empire Strikes Back. And you all can hate me for it all you want. I don't care. It's The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi is a truly phenomenal movie that with time will get the same appreciation as the prequels did. Because when the prequels came out, it didn't get any love. At least not much. And now we have two people here mentioning the prequels as their favorite movies because they actually have something to offer, you know. And I think The Last Jedi is that kind of movie. So I don't think The Last Jedi. I don't think any movie ever, in regards to Star Wars, will ever be topping Empire Strikes Back for me. But Last Jedi was very close, and I want to just give that a shout out, even though you can all disagree with me and hate me all you want for having that opinion, because it seems that the entire internet just explodes when people even mention the movie. So there's that.
Well, sometimes you just need to let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
That's a phenomenal quote, by the way.
See what I did there? There you go, TLJ. I'm giving you a shout out. Last Jedi gets a shout out tonight. There you go. Boom. 10 points to Gryffindor. Sorry, wrong franchise. I took the quiz. I ended up being in the Gryffindor house. Why am I not surprised? I'm a Boy Scout. Get used to it. With that being said, favorite Star Wars movie. Snips and I feel like are cut from the same cloth when it comes to this. Force Awakens, man. I saw it 6 times in the theater. When that film was coming out, the trailers were coming out, the marketing campaign was hyping up, the interviews were happening all over the interwebs. I was like, you know what? This could be the start of something really special here. I know. I mean, I'm hoping it lives up to that. And then we went opening weekend. My brothers and I have 2 older brothers. I'm the youngest of the family. We went because we remember our dad and our mom taking us to see the originals back in '97 when they were re-released, of course. And we saw Force Awakens. And I remember distinctly my brother grabbing my arm, grabbing my wrist so tight that I couldn't even feel myself breathe. And he was like, it's starting. Oh my God. Like, and then the John Williams thing kicks in, and he just loses it. He loses his ever loving mind. And as soon as the crawl happens, he's like, episode 7, there it is. It says it, episode 7. We never thought we were going to get it. And he was, as you can imagine, folks, for those of you who are watching or listening to this program, he was on cloud 9, right? He was on cloud 9. I was on cloud 9. It was my second time seeing it in the theater because I saw it with friends opening weekend. I saw it the second time with my brothers, like a night or two later, right? So everyone's mind was blown. We're in a theater full of 250, 300 people. They're going nuts. When the bay doors open, Han Solo and Chewie walk in. Han says, Chewie, we're home. Everyone loses their mind. Every single person on God's green earth lost their mind when Han and Chewie walked back into the Falcon. 30 plus years, like 30 some odd years later, whatever it was. It's crazy. But Force Awakens is great for so many reasons. It's a fun movie. It's adventurous. It hooks you from beginning to end. There's new characters being thrown into the mix with Kylo Ren. You get Rey. Daisy Ridley bursts onto the scene. John Boyega bursts onto the scene. And we didn't really know who any of these actors were at the time. So they all become household names overnight. And I was very happy for them. Very, very happy. So, yeah, 6 times in the theater. I don't know how many times. I forget how many times you told me this, Chrissy, how many times you saw Force Awakens. But I saw it 6 times. And every single time we went, we lost our ever-loving minds. And that is why, to this day, 10 years later, Force Awakens is still the cream that rises to the top. Oh, yeah. The cream of the crop. Chrissy, how many times did you see it in theaters? Force Awakens. How many times?
I only saw it once because I was still young, but after that, almost every Star Wars movie that came out after that, I saw it multiple times. Yeah.
Touche. And I was getting a note here by one of our producers. Apparently he saw it 17. Is that right?
Yeah.
You saw it 17 times.
Yes.
One movie, just one movie,
including re-releases. Look, it was the first Star Wars movie I actually got to see in the theater. Because while I was introduced to Star Wars back in early 2000s, I didn't actually get to see any of them in the theater until Force Awakens. And yeah, like the funny thing is, I only just booked a ticket for opening day, like Friday afternoon, and then I was like, oh, I need more of this in my life, so I just went a whole bunch of other times, because it does help that we have like unlimited cards over here for our theater, so you can just you pay a monthly subscription and you can go as many times as you want to the theater, so that really helps.
That's a valid point, by the way. Thanks for bringing that up. And I haven't subscribed to that yet. That's so sad. But congrats. 17. I mean, that's ludicrous. I mean, that's insane. I mean, that's a lot of coin. But, then again, if you have the unlimited pass, then I guess you're not spending as much coin. But, wow. Okay, well, I'll say this. If there's not a Guinness Book of World Record that has your name written next to it, it should. because 17 is insanity. But in a good way though, because it's a great movie and I love it to pieces, as everyone can attest to.
No, 20 is more.
Well, yeah, but I don't know who has the record. I don't know who holds
well,
the
okay.
record.
To be fair, 20 is the amount of times that I went to Rogue One.
Rogue One. That. You saw Rogue One 20 flipping times in a theater.
I know. I know.
Look at Angel. Look at Angel's face. Her jaw has been dropped to the floor twice during this show. Which, by the way,
best. I love that for you. That's awesome.
That's a lot of ludicrous speed right there. Sorry, that's a reference to another film. But anyway, I do want to respect our producers and panelists. So, Christy, great to see you. Congratulations. I'm sorry you didn't get a chance to see it 17 times like Case over here. But you are going to be sitting front row center with us in the month of December when your favorite movie turns 10 this year with Force Awakens, right? You're going to be there. I hope to see I hope to see some Force Awakens embroidery behind you there in your studio. I mean, I hope to see, I don't know. But Christy, for those of you who are watching or listening, if they want to know more about you or purchase one of those lovely canvases that you have being displayed behind you within your studio, where can they follow you, Christy?
So you can follow me on Instagram at snipsandco_. I got Fan Expo Philly coming up in less than 2 weeks, which is craziness. I'll be there at A202. I also got Fan Expo Boston in August, as well as ForceCon in New Jersey in September. So super excited and looking forward for those conventions. And if you want to order online, you could just DM me on my Instagram. And if you like any Star Wars books or just reading in general, follow me over at Admiral Reads, where I post. I have a giveaway running till tomorrow night too. Gonna mention that. So if you want to join, go join over on Admiral Reads.
Thank you very much, Christy, for being here. Wish you well.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy your weekend. Be safe out there. Enjoy Free Comic Day. If you're going to a comic shop, get yourself some Star Wars comics.
I sure will.
Yeah, say hello to everybody over there for us. And we are going to see you at Fan Expo Philly. My friends and I are going to be there. We're going to be there in person. We're going to meet you. We're going to take some photos together. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk some Star Wars, maybe some other fandoms that you're interested in while we're there in Philly. Maybe we'll even do an Instagram Live with you. Who knows? Stay tuned, folks. It's coming. May 16th to the 18th at the Philadelphia Convention Center in the city where it's always sunny in Philadelphia. It's always sunny in Philadelphia. So, Christy, be well, be safe. And as always, the Force will be with you always, Christy. We'll see
yes. May the Fourth be with everyone. Bye.
Take it easy, Christy. We'll see you soon. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, she is
of course.
Yes. Thank you for being here. You're awesome. Have a good one. Oh, she's such a wise Jedi apprentice. Wise beyond her years. By the way, Flip City Magazine says, "Hail, Ryan and panel. Happy Friday." What's up, Flip City Magazine? Good to see you. Hope everything's well in your neck of the woods. If you have any thoughts on Star Wars, maybe some of your favorite characters, scenes, moments, TV shows, whatever, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Do not forget to like and share this. And if you're joining us live on what is known as a replay, thank you for doing so. So we mentioned movies. Then I'm assuming favorite TV series is going to be, let me take a wild guess here. I think it's going to be Rebels for Angel, or am I wrong?
If you've seen me post anything, it's pretty obvious. Yeah. I don't think I could live without Rebels.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough. Which is no slouch. Good show, solid show. And heck, they even got a rewatch podcast going on now with Pod of Rebellion. For those of you who don't know, it's on Spotify, right? It's on Google. It's on Apple Podcasts. So...
Two mostly, I think. I'm not sure. I've been listening to Apple Podcasts, but you may be able to find it elsewhere as well.
Okay, but it is on Spotify. I do know that. So there you go. Find it on Spotify. It's there, folks. It's available. But yeah, so Rebels for this Rebel scum over here known as Angel. Sorry, I had to throw the Rebel iteration of Rebel scum out there once. Not that you're a bad person. You're not a bad person or anything. I just thought I'd throw it out there as hey, it's a quote from a movie. It happens. Exactly.
I'm ready for the rebellion to just call me up. I'm ready to go.
Oh, it's happening, folks. Favorite series there, Case? Is it I think is it Clone Wars? No, wait, I'm not. No, it's not Clone Wars, but it is something, isn't it? What's your favorite TV series of Star Wars?
And Joe's correct. It's Rebels.
Oh, it is Rebels.
that's no. By the way, so look, I already said, like, I went 17 times to see The Force Awakens.
Jeez.
Which were 15 upon initial release. Then I did a double feature with Last Jedi when The Last Jedi came out, like Wednesday morning screening with that. And then we did a marathon of the 3 when Rise of Skywalker came out. So we did Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker as a marathon. But the thing about it is that The Force Awakens sparked a new love for Star Wars in me. And then right after that release, I found Rebels, which was very important for me at the time because from late 2016 until late 2017, I was like Angel, I was struggling with mental health issues, and I felt that the sequel trilogy, Rebels, Rogue One, were really, really needed in my life at that point to keep me sane, to keep me going, essentially. So that's why that has such an impact on me. That's why Hera as a character has such an impact on me. Because sometimes, you go, like when you're going through life, not everything works out the way you want it, and you need to find a way to deal with that. And in my case, Star Wars has always been there to help me get through difficult periods, So in that regard, Rebels, and of course, essentially, the 2015, 2016, 2017 stuff that we got from Rebels was really great. I will say, though, I am wearing the shirt of From One Way Out from Andor because I think that probably objectively the best series is Andor that they have released ever. Andor is insane. Like the writing, the production design, everything about that show just works.
Gotcha. Understandably so. One Way Out. I mean, Caesar from Planet of the Apes, played a big part in that. With that's right, with Andor back in season 1. So I get it. So there's been so many good series that have come across the way. I finally watched some Clone Wars not too long ago. That is really good storytelling. Rebels, I was there from the beginning to the end. Wild ride, heck of a ride. Great voice actors came aboard that show during its run. Some really good character moments. We had Clancy Brown was on there for a time on Rebels. He was great. Love Clancy Brown. He's been the voice of, when I read a Superman comic, he is the voice of Lex Luthor every single time I'm reading a Superman comic, because he was the voice of Lex Luthor on Superman the Animated Series from 1996. So if you don't know who Clancy Brown is, look up his history, because that guy has been in so many different things, not just Star Wars. He's done tons and tons of other stuff. Great actor too. And I heard he's a nice guy in person, from what I've been told by my sources close to me. But my favorite show is... go ahead, Angela. What were you going to say?
So excited when Clancy Brown showed up in the Ahsoka show.
That's right. Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Like, Rosati, that's the real writer, Rosati. I freaked out. It was great. I love him so much.
Yeah, what was I
actually one of the few actors to reprise his voice role in live action. Not a lot of them do that.
Yep, and then one of the other few would be Katie Sackhoff as Bo-Katan Kryze. So,
and Mickelson.
Oh, Matt, yeah, not Matt.
Lars Mickelson.
Lars, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Love that. I love when actors do that. Personally, I always appreciate when the voice is carried over into live action, or then vice versa with Liam Neeson voicing Qui-Gon in Clone Wars. I love that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that was good too. Yeah. Let's not forget about that. Yeah, but my favorite show can be summed up with 4 simple words.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
I mean, it's a Western in space. It's about an outlaw. He's a bounty hunter in the beginning. Because we're elected hero in the end. It's cool. It's fabulous. It's a Western in space. Mando's armor, whether it's Beskar or not, is, excuse my language, badass, no matter how you look at it, right? Anybody who dresses up in Mandalorian armor or Mandalorian outfits, garb, whatever, kudos to you, because those things have to be super hot when you're wearing them. And the other thing is, people who design these kinds of things have been able to install fans in their helmets so they don't, get sweaty. They don't sweat to death, which is good, because one of these days, and I hope to do, this is a dream of mine, I hope to do this. I would love to go as a Mandalorian sometime. I would like to dress up as a Mandalorian. I think it'd be really fun. I think it'd be really cool. I can get myself, in someone's, clan, or, someone can do a baptism with me, like Armor can baptize me or something like that. I don't know. I just want to experience it for myself. Right. So one of these days I hope to do it. But Mandalorian is such a good show because it borrows elements from the original trilogies and other elements of the series, but at the same time, it can still stand on its own because Din Djarin's a cool character, and all this other stuff is going on. What color? That is a $2 million question. What color scheme would I have for my armor? See, here's the thing. I mean, I like Beskar. I like that silverish, like shiny, uber, shiny color. But that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So if I couldn't get the Beskar silverish, I really like blue. So I go with like navy blue, maybe what's the lighter shade? Was it like teal or something? I don't know. Royal blue. That's it. So royal blue, maybe mixed in with navy. I'm not really sure. Kind of like Bo-Katan's outfit a little bit, if you know where I'm going with this. So that'd be kind of cool. But yeah, my favorite show is Mandalorian. It's a Western in space, and I like Westerns. And I like Din Djarin, and I like a lot of stuff his character's been through. And plus, hearing Emily Swallow as the armor, whenever she talks, everybody in the room is just silent, paying attention to what's going on. She commands the room. She commands your attention. Anything she says is pure gold, in my opinion. Anything that Emily Swallow says is pure gold. So anytime we get the armor,
her helmet.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like anytime she's bashing people over the head with her hammer, or she's just telling a story about the clan Kreese, or she's telling about your song has not been written yet, all the stuff is like that. That's the good stuff in life, isn't that right? I mean, I would venture to say yes. So Mandalorian's probably my favorite show. That's what I gotta say about Buyout. Excuse me. Favorite scene in a Star Wars movie or TV series, Angel? Favorite scene?
Oh gosh, that's really hard. There's so many. I have one for kind of each of my favorite characters. My favorite Ahsoka scene is I don't know. It's really hard. I really love the Siege of Mandalore arc. And specifically the episode Shattered. It's devastating, but it really demonstrates what an incredible warrior Ahsoka has become when the 501st turns on her. Or I guess that time they're the 322nd. And I love her, how she carries herself through that episode. I really love her in all of season 7, but that moment in particular when the clones turn on her is devastating and really beautiful. And then moving on to Kanan, my favorite scene for Kanan is the first time we see him use his lightsaber. It's the 22 pickup. And I love that scene. It's from the second episode of Rebels. And I just love the way that Kanan assembles his lightsaber. I get chills every single time and get really emotional every single time as he then wields it for the first time, especially if you've read A New Dawn, which tells the story of how Hera and Kanan met and kind of the state that Kanan was in after everything he'd been through. That scene in particular carries a lot of weight, because you understand how difficult it is for Kanan to reveal himself as a Jedi, because he lived in so much fear and in a lot of shame of his past as a Jedi, and wanting literally nothing to do with the Force, nothing to do with the idea of the Jedi or the Jedi Code. I mean, literally living his life in the complete opposite way, because of how scarred he was after Order 66. And then with Hera's influence in his life, him coming to that point of being willing to wield his lightsaber openly is a really, really powerful moment for him. And then for Hera, it is that quote that we've now mentioned multiple times, is that we have hope that things will get better, and they will. I love that quote. And I actually, last time I got Vanessa Marshall's signature, I had her write that quote, because it's my favorite, one of my favorite quotes from Rebels. And so those are a couple of, I feel like the lesser known moments, like when people answer that question a lot of the time, especially for Ahsoka, you hear the I am no Jedi scene, which is a phenomenal scene, and I truly love that scene, or some of the moments later on in Rebels. But those are like some of the building block moments for those characters that I really, really love.
That's good stuff. All right, I dig it. I totally understand that. Good moments too. Lots of really good choices there. To be perfectly honest. Favorite scene or moments for you, Case, from a Star Wars television series or a movie that stand out?
Ahsoka. Anakin. I die every time. Seriously. The moment that Anakin or that Vader's helmet is cracked on Malachor and Ahsoka finally, after months of denial, realizes that it's Anakin in the suit. I'm talking, of course, about the season 2 finale, Twilight of the Apprentice of Star Wars Rebels. It's an insane scene. That is one of them, at least, because there are so many great scenes in all of Star Wars, and I mean, One Way Out. Honestly, like the moment that they all rise up against the Empire, that they realize they can get out of there. That's another one, and that's a very recent one, honestly. But you can also go all the way back to Empire Strikes Back. Like I adore Do or Do Not. There is no try. And then Yoda just pulls the X-Wing out of the swamp like it's nobody's business when Luke had the hardest time doing that. So there are so many great scenes, but probably the one that gets me the most is Twilight of the Apprentice, Ahsoka versus Vader, and then the moment that his helmet is cracked, and she can see him, and like all the way leading up to that moment, we hear James Earl Jones's voice as Vader. But the moment that the helmet is cracked, we can hear Matt Lanter's voice for Anakin coming through. It's difficult not to break out in tears right now.
Talk about it. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, like I adore that scene so much. I cry every time. Like essentially the moment that Ahsoka is like, it wouldn't be the first time, and Vader turns around and he sees her. I start crying, and I don't stop crying until the end of the episode. I get so emotional over that one. So yeah, that scene is it's everything.
My goodness gracious, we're getting deep here, folks. And by the way, Flip City Magazine goes on to say, this is some deep Star Wars discussion. It would be shameful for me to comment. No, it would. No. Listen, whatever your experience level is with Star Wars, it doesn't matter, right? Because we're all friends here, right? We're all fans in our own way. There's no shame in that, right, Angel? Case, there's no shame in it. So if you have any thoughts about this, any thoughts at all, Flip City Magazine, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. Do you have a favorite movie? Do you have a favorite character? Do you have a favorite sequence that took place in a film or TV series? It doesn't really, it doesn't matter which one you choose. There's no right or wrong way to answer the question. But let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat if you wish. We're not going to put any unnecessary pressure on our viewers. But do not forget to like and share this. And if you're joining us live or what is known as a replay, thank you for being here and hello there. Wow, a lot of animated series of live action moments.
She has one more.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I keep breaking the rules.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
When Hu Yang in the Ahsoka series gives Ezra the piece that matches Kanan's lightsaber as he's assembling his new lightsaber, I'm gonna cry. I can't talk about the scene without crying. That is such a full circle moment for Ezra. And the fact that now going into season 2, he gets to wield a lightsaber that has the only other one, because there were only 2 of them, the same matching piece as his master, feels like carrying Kanan with him. And that is so beautiful. And that is my favorite moment in the entire Ahsoka series. Don't get me wrong, episode 5 with Hayden, all of that incredible. But that singular moment cuts me so deeply because it feels like a moment of healing for Ezra, healing through that grief of losing Kanan, and it's just really, really beautiful. I love that scene, and I will never not sob my eyes out watching it.
One can only imagine.
Congratulations, Ryan! You got her crying on your show.
I know. I was gonna say. One can only imagine what
any of this. It's okay. I cry about it at home. I cry about it talking to literally anybody. I cry in my videos a lot. If you follow me on TikTok, you've seen me ugly cry about literally all of these scenes. I have talked about all of them, and I have ugly cried talking about every single one of them. I cry talking about Kanan, pretty much about him, because I'm definitely a real loss for me. His death, it's so, and I'm just an easy crier, so it's okay. It's because it's so good. It's because it's so good. I say? Sorry, I broke the rules.
No, it's fine. We're not breaking any rules. We're having too much fun as it is. Getting emotional too while talking about these discussion points. But still, Flip City Magazine goes on to say, I don't care if Tauntauns are smelly. I'd still like to ride one. I thought they smell bad on the outside. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's a line from
I want
but
or a blurred. I want to ride a blurred.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they actually had one at Star Wars Celebration. It was like a model, and you could get on it and ride it. And I was really sad that I didn't get to get a photo on it because the line was so long every single time. I did have to really sad because I was in my Hera cosplay, and I wanted to take a picture on the blurg. But if I could ride anything in Star Wars, it would be a blurg or a bantha. But blurgs are really cool. I love blurgs.
Wow. Okay. See, you're kind of responding to what Flip City was saying. Like, well, I don't care if they're smelly. I still like to ride a Tauntaun. Well, fair enough. Wow, man, these are deep moments. Wow, it's hard to pick just one. So yeah, let's just break all the rules here. Yeah, some of my favorite moments. I mean, honestly, one of the first things that really comes to my mind, because I've been rewatching this scene a lot in the last, I don't know, 6, 8, maybe even year. The duel between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Phantom Menace. It is so. Yeah, Angel, you know where I'm going with this, right? Duel of the Fates playing in the background. And by the way, I mean, I don't think, as far as I know, maybe I'm wrong about this, but in a lot of the duels in Star Wars, people are talking in between strikes of their opponent or in between fight scenes. But in this one, in Phantom, there are no words at all. Like, they are just straight fight. It's a fight to the death, fight to the point, straight to the point. Maul pulls out a double-bladed lightsaber. Everyone goes nuts every time that happens, right? And then Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are like, okay, we got to figure this out. We got to take this guy down, but we're going to do it. It may be hard, but we're going to do it. And Duel of the Fates playing at the same exact time, Angel. That is, I know, right? It's masterful storytelling. So, and Darth Maul.
Eggs that makes
Yeah, I mean, Darth Maul's intimidating as it is, but he doesn't even have to say a word. He could just like pull out his lightsaber and it's great. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. So yeah, Duel of the Fates, Phantom Menace is one of my all-time favorite. That scene's 26 years later, that thing still holds up.
I would say some of the best fight choreography in Star Wars. It's an incredible lightsaber battle. Ray Park is amazing. Ray Park is incredible.
Have you met him?
No, sadly, he was actually supposed to come to my local Comic-Con, our last convention, and unfortunately had to cancel, but I would really love to meet Ray someday. And I love that he still does, to this day, the motion capture for Maul, and sounds like he's going to be doing it for Maul Shadow Lord, which is really exciting. I love that with Maul, they still continue to keep him involved, even though Sam is doing the voice. I love the dual involvement of the two of them, because you really can't have Maul without either one of them, and that's really cool.
That's a valid point. I actually, not to jump 2 steps ahead of the next question, but I did meet Ray Park. He was nice. We talked about Maul for a little bit. I told him, hey, it was cool that you played Snake Eyes in G.I. Joe. It was really cool that you played Toad in X-Men, because I'm a giant X-Men fan. Love X-Men. And then I asked him about Maul and what was it, I was like, dude, that's one of the best fight scenes I've ever seen in my life. He's like, oh, well, thank you, mate. I appreciate that. And it was just like going into it a little bit, gave us a little bit of behind the scenes stories. And then obviously he does this at every convention. He takes a double-bladed lightsaber, does the twirling, right, Angel? He does this whole demonstration, the whole 9. And we all lost our minds. It was like, dude, this guy's like X amount of years old, but he can still like whip, excuse me for saying this, he can still whip your ass with the best of him. I mean, he can still do it, right? I mean, it doesn't matter how old this guy gets. He still can, lay the smack down. But anyway, not to jump 2 steps ahead of the next question. So yeah, that's one of my favorite sequences. One of my other favorite sequences is it's the very beginning of this sequence, right? And as soon as the elevator door closes, he's looking around, he's trying to figure out where this guy is. All of a sudden, this light comes on. The Force is with you, young Skywalker, but you are not a Jedi yet. I mean, that is just, what an intimidating sight, if not an intimidating way to start, even before you even start fighting, right? Like, you're the Force may be with you, but you're not a Jedi. You're not even in my league yet. You know what I mean? From Empire, it's just, Lord knows Case is going to do a deep dive on all these scenes when we get into the watch along in 4 weeks' time.
By the way, I think he says it, the Force is with you, young Skywalker.
Exactly.
You are not a Jedi yet.
And it's so good, but it's so good though. It's so good. It's iconic. So it's absolutely it's bloody brilliant. So that beginning of that sequence between Vader and Luke in Empire is just pure gold.
Chills.
It is. It really is, right? It really is, and it still holds up 45 years later. It's insane. But those are some of my favorite sequences within, and then obviously one of my other favorite scenes is when Han just shoots up the place in the cantina and shoots Greedo first, because we all know, right, Angel, that Han shot first. So it's, yeah. Oh, she's saying, well, maybe he did, maybe he did. No, he shot first. Okay.
Okay, Ryan, there's no first. He shot.
Well, yeah, that's true, but there's a T-shirt out there that says Han shot first, which is fine.
Yeah, which by the I don't get that, because he just shot. No one else shot. So it's just Han who shot.
Okay, well, maybe they should rename the shirt, or what do you call it? Redesign it? Is that what they do on that? Yeah, redesign the shirt, guys. Redesign the shirt so I can buy it next time I'm there, or buy it online for sale, because it's something there. But those are some of my favorite sequences in Star Wars. So there you go. That's what I have to say about that one. Good Lord. Oh, goodness. Here's one that's going to blow everybody's mind. This is probably going to cause Angel to think a little bit more. But I'm just curious. Have you had a favorite moment or interaction with a Star Wars fan at an event, or an actor or actress from Star Wars that stands out to you, Case?
I'm not the person to ask this. I don't go to conventions. I have literally only ever attended one Star Wars celebration 2 years ago, because I'm not American. It's not really a thing here, which is kind of unfortunate, because, of course, I'd love to meet any and all of them, but I'm not the person you should ask this. Move along.
Okay. Fine. Well, I mean, considering the fact that our young friend here was boots on the ground and got all the exclusives from Star Wars Celebration in Japan, overseas, just curious, Angel, do you have a favorite moment or interaction with one of the maybe celebrity guests, or maybe some of the fans that were there at this, either this one or other events that you've been to in the past?
I go to so many conventions. I've been averaging about 5 to 8 conventions a year for the past couple of years. So I'll admit I'm very fortunate to have had many, many, many incredible experiences. To name a couple of probably the most memorable moments for me, starts out definitely with Celebration 2 years ago. And I got the wonderful chance to be at the live stage when Hayden Christensen showed up. And the moment there kind of ended up going very viral. But as Hayden came out onto the stage, people were just screaming and chanting his name. And that lasted for like 5 minutes. And as he sat down, he got really emotional. And he started crying up on the stage because he was so moved. And it was just really special to be a part of that moment. Like I said earlier, I love to see now that Hayden has begun to really receive publicly so much love for his, his role as Anakin, whereas, when the prequels first came out, people had very different opinions and some very strong things to say about Hayden in particular and his performance. And I've always really loved him as Anakin. And so that was a really cool moment to get to be a part of, to kind of get to participate in this group of people, really just showing Hayden how much we love and appreciate him and everything he's done in Star Wars. And then tagging on to that, I think it was it was the day before, at that very same celebration, was the Ahsoka Lives meetup, which is something that has been done at most celebrations. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do one at this past celebration in Tokyo, but we did one in London. And it was a bunch of Ahsoka cosplayers and just big Ahsoka fans. And we met outside of the convention center, and actually Ashley herself arranged that. And she came out and just talked about how much Ahsoka means to her. And we took a giant group photo of probably about 200 of us out there. And that was a really, really special moment, because it was really one of the first times that I got to experience Star Wars as a community. And I mean, I was just surrounded by all these people who loved Ahsoka as much as I did. And everybody everybody was so kind. And I was just wearing a very simple Ahsoka bound, and I was standing next to people who had clearly put like, you know, years worth of effort into these incredibly detailed cosplays, and yet they were so kind and were complimenting my outfit and the way I'd done my hair. And I felt kind of like an imposter there, surrounded by all these cosplayers, and I like felt unworthy. And yet they were like, no, you look amazing. Everybody is welcome here. We're all just here to celebrate Ahsoka. And that left a really, really big impact on me. And I'm still friends with some of those people to this day. And so that is definitely a favorite moment from Celebration a couple years ago. And then, of course, I've had the pleasure of meeting Ashley many, many times since then. She's very near and dear to my heart. And so I'm very grateful for that. And then this most recent celebration only 2 weeks ago, which is so crazy. It feels like it was just yesterday and like forever ago at the same time, especially with the time zone jump. It's so weird, but this celebration was really, really special, to be honest, just because I got the chance to spend time with so many friends, so many mutuals who I've been friends with for years online and never had the chance to meet in person. And it felt like this big reunion. And I was constantly running into people, and we just ended up kind of in this big group. Just hanging out, especially after Celebration. I was teaching some of my friends how to spin lightsabers, and we were just yapping about the panels and everything that had happened. And I mean, it was just such a special experience to get to spend time with them. That, and then we did do a little mini Hera cosplay meetup with Vanessa Marshall and a couple of the other Heras she's actually mentioned in Pot of Rebellion. Most recently, we have a little group chat that I am a part of for all of us Hera cosplayers. And so I had messaged in that, and we got a little meetup set up together, and that was super special. And it was really fun to get to see her. And we, you know, I got to meet a couple of new Hera cosplayers that I'd never met before. And so that was really, really fun, super special. And I didn't do any photo ops or autographs or anything like that because Oscar Isaac canceled for Celebration this time. And I was so excited because I had a photo op scheduled with him, and I've never met him before. So I'm really hoping to catch him at another convention someday, because I was really bummed. I love Oscar Isaac. I love Poe Dameron. He's my favorite character from the sequels, so I was a little bummed about that. But overall, this past Celebration was just such an incredible experience. And even not doing any photo ops or autographs or anything like that, I just enjoyed getting to be with other fans. It was so much fun. It was such a wholesome experience. The Star Wars fandom gets such a bad rap online, and as it kind of should, for having a very toxic side online. But let me tell you, in person, it's such a different experience. The community in person with Star Wars is so wholesome. It's so positive. It's so uplifting. I loved seeing all of the cosplays from literally any Star Wars project, all the way from the original trilogies through to some of the most recent stuff like Skeleton Crew and The Acolyte. There was so much love for all of these newer shows, so many cosplays. There were people constantly handing out swag, and I had my own swag, which if you've never been to Star Wars Celebration before, that's the thing, is people bring buttons and stickers and patches and stuff to just hand out to people, and it's called swag trading. And so I brought some this year, and I got to trade with a bunch of people. And it's just super cool. I came home with literally a bag full of, like, a bag this big of just swag, stickers and bracelets and keychains and patches and everything. And everybody was just so kind. It was so incredible, and truly just some of the best 3 days of my life. There was also one in particular interaction, one of the days I was dressed as Ahsoka, where there was this little girl, probably 3 years old, who thought I was Ahsoka. And that made my life, because she came up to me with her eyes like saucer wide and looked at me and started talking to me about how she'd seen my show and that she loved me. And I used my theater degree for a second there, and I was like, okay, for this little girl, I am Ahsoka. I am Ahsoka in this moment because she thinks I'm Ahsoka, and I cannot disappoint this precious child. And so she just sat there and yapped at me about how much she loved me and loved my show. And then I took a bunch of pictures with her, and she was literally jumping up and down. She was so excited. She was dressed as an Ewok too, which made it that much cuter. And that was probably my favorite interaction with somebody at all of Celebration, was this little girl, because I swear it was the most precious thing. And I almost cried when her and her parents walked away, because it was just so precious. And the fact that she thought I was Ahsoka, I was just I was overwhelmed. I was like, oh my gosh, this is the cutest thing that's ever happened. So generally, I mean, there was just too many moments to name. I'm so grateful to get to go to all these conventions and meet so many people, so many fans, and so many people part of this incredible universe. So yeah, sorry, that's a lot, but this past celebration, it was pretty great. It's pretty great.
Goodness, I mean, apparently there's two of Case, because Case just commented, that is so adorable. OMG.
She was talking, and I was like, I that's one of the most amazing stories I've ever heard. Honestly, wow.
My husband kind of was looking at me afterwards, and even my sister was saying, she's like, "Can we take this kid home with us?" And I was like, "No, we cannot kid the child." But oh my gosh, and she hugged me. It was literally, I was near crying, and I didn't have the orange on, but I had the white face markings, and I guess that was enough for her with the costume. That's Ahsoka Tano. That's Ahsoka, and I was like, okay, I am for the next 5 minutes. I am Ahsoka Tano, because I'll be darned if I'm gonna disappoint this precious child. I have to live up to the Ahsoka of her dreams, and I did. She left very, very, very happy, and was super cute. So yeah, that was that made my life. I was Ahsoka for 5 minutes. It was great.
Oh my gosh! I mean,
I do have something that I can show, which is the back of my laptop. You can see stickers from the Mandalorian, and well, this is specifically Star Wars Celebration 2 years ago in London, because people just hand you things. Heck, I was handed this at one point for just taking a picture with someone, and he was like, "You can take this." I'm like, "Okay, thank you. That's very cool." People just give you stuff. Because that was my first Star Wars Celebration, so I had no idea that was even a thing, but it's a thing. People just hand you stuff, and I'm like, thank you.
At Celebration, people are literally the most generous ever. It's crazy. And the fact that people put so much time into custom making all of these patches or stickers, and the artwork on some of them is just incredible. And I got handed a little plush Loth Cat keychain that's now on my keys, because it's so cute, and I got so many stickers. I'm gonna literally cover one of my lightsaber cases in all of the stickers that I got, and honestly, I'm still gonna have a bunch of them left over. And I decided to get a jacket that I'm going to iron on all of the patches that I got, because I have so many, and I'm like, then this is going to be a really cool memento jacket with all these patches I got. And it's especially when you're cosplaying too, people just come up to you and hand you things with the character you're cosplaying on it. So I got a ton of Ahsoka and Rebel stuff, especially the day that I was cosplaying as Hera. People were just constantly handing me Rebel stuff, and it's literally the best ever, because I'm just yes, thank you. Give me literally every single Rebels thing. I will love it, because if it has any Rebels character, I got an AP5 patch, and AP5 is my favorite obscure character, and that made my day, because there was an AP5 cosplayer, and I ran up to them, was like, oh my gosh, you're AP5, and they looked incredible, and they had patches and stickers and everything. They handed me a handful of patches and stickers with AP5 and Chopper on it. I was like, my life is made. My life is made. It was amazing.
Wow. I bumped into somebody at a convention I was at a week ago, and I noticed they were wearing a jacket, and they had some patches on it that were Star Wars representative of it. And I said, I'm just curious, where'd you get those patches? And she looks at me and she says, oh yeah, I got these at, I think she said Star Wars Celebration, or one of the other conventions related to it. And I was like, those are really cool patches. She's like, yeah. It's, I was given stuff, or this happened, or that happened, or these circumstances occurred. And I was like, that is really cool. Now, I don't own a jacket that has iron-on patches, but I'm thinking of wanting to get one now, because I'm seeing all these different kinds of Star Wars or other fandom-related patches roaming around these convention halls, Case and Angel. So I may need to start some, new things here for the new season once we get into fall and winter, because right now it's 150 degrees here. So no jackets right now, folks. We're only wearing t-shirts and a pair of shorts is fine, but I'm not wearing any jackets anytime soon. Not happening. But it's like Tatooine. It's very hot here in the state of Maryland in the northeastern United States. Can't speak for where Case and Angel right now, because we don't live in the same neighborhoods. But yeah,
it's been warm here this week.
Has it been warm where you are? Okay.
Yeah.
Is it warm in your neck of the woods, Angel? Has it been 85, 90 degrees somewhere around there?
Recently, the Midwest, it kind of is a game of what you're going to wake up to, snow or 80 degrees. Sometimes you get both. same day. I kid you not.
So in other words, being in the Midwest, it's like a game of chicken. We don't know what we're going to get. Thank you. One of the two. But yeah, no, and once again, this is Nerdy Cantina. Don't forget to like and share. If you have any comments, let us know in the chat. If you're joining us live on the replay, thank you for doing that, because good Lord. So I've been going to conventions 13 years. So I've been a lot of names over the years, lots of people, lots of wonderful people. Vanessa Marshall being one of them. Taylor, what's his name? Taylor Gray as Ezra. He was chill, right, Anja? He was really cool, chill. But I got to the moment that stands out for me, and this is something that I think bears repeating, because this person gets a lot of love and heart and appreciation. I think she deserves it wholeheartedly. So Ashley Eckstein, who voices Ahsoka, I've met her 2 or 3 times now in my career. And my friend Stephanie and I were at Fan Expo Philadelphia last year, and we saw Ashley, James, Arnold Taylor, who voices Obi-Wan Kenobi. We saw D. Bradley Baker, who voices Rex. Let's go, and we saw Taylor. Excuse me. What's his name? Matt Lanter. That's it. Matt Lanter, who voices Anakin. Thank you. And they were all great. But when we walked up to Ashley, we said, Ashley, it's good to see you again. We just wanted to say congratulations on all your success. Congratulations on the mental health advocacy videos. We think they're brilliant. They're great. We care about them. We listen to them. They're really good. I think you being an advocate for people with mental health or who struggle with mental health is a very, very big deal. I think it's great. And she says, thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that. And then she looks at us. And by the way, anytime she talks, all I see is Ahsoka. That's all I see. So Ahsoka looks at us, right? Because, Angel, you've had this experience too. So Ashley looks at me and she says, because you guys have been so nice and you came up to see me, you traveled all this way, da-da-da-da. She wears like hundreds of friendship bracelets on both of her wrists, her right and her left wrist. She takes 2 friendship bracelets off her own wrist and hands it over to both Stephanie and myself and says, this is for you. Thank you for being so supportive. Thank you for being here. It's great to see you guys. I wish you well. Come up and say hi to me anytime I'm in your neck of the woods, and just wear these as a token of my appreciation. And the moment she gave those to us, I kid you not, I mean, Stephanie and I looked at each other with like a bit of a puzzled look, and then we're like, is this real? Like, did this just happen? Because no one on this earth has been as kind and generous to the fans as Ashley Eckstein has, folks. I got to be honest. I've been in the Comic-Con industry for 13 years, and I can tell you, I've been a lot of nice people in my life, but this one right here takes the cake wholeheartedly, and she deserves it too. Look at all the stuff she's done, whether it's mental health advocacy, whether it's the voiceover acting, whether it's the PSAs, the Instagram lives on Monday. Was it Mondays, right? Mental Health Mondays, Angel, I think is what she does. So she does all this stuff, and I'm just like, this is the kind of world I want to live in, with people like her, right? The world is better with people like Ashley and James and Matt and D. Bradley Baker and all these guys and gals who are in this business and giving the fans what they truly deserve, and that is their attention. Because we love these people, we love seeing them, but once they give you that moment in this, of their time, that is what counts. So that moment between Ashley Eckstein, Stephanie, and myself, we're never going to lose that. We're never going to lose it. We're never going to forget it. But if you ever get a chance to meet any of the cast members from Clone Wars, Rebels, whatever it is, do yourself a favor. Go up to every single one of their booths. You don't even have to buy a flippant autograph, in my opinion. You can just go up to them and say, hey, look, I loved you in this. I really appreciate what you did in that. And they'll love hearing it, but they'll also say, how are you doing? What's up with you? What's going on in your life? You see what I'm saying? These are the kind of people that you want to see at conventions. So that's my 2 cents on as far as great fan, what is it called? Fan to celebrity interactions. I mean, all the ones I've had. Sam Witwer was cool. I met Sam Witwer one time. He was a cool dude, Angel. I kid you not. And by the way, he's a giant nerd too, so he'll nerd out about anything with you guys. Period. Greg Grunberg, who was Snap Wexley in Force Awakens, right? I saw him years ago. He'll talk Europe about anything. The guy's been a nerd from day one. So those are some of the best celebrity interactions I've had over the years of my life. So those are some things that stand out to me. But that's just me. Favorite Star Wars novel, Angel? What do you think?
Dark Disciple.
Christy Golden.
Okay. Tore my heart out. But I truly, truly love that book. And I'm very, very excited for the Tales of the Underworld shorts that are coming out, as those are going to kind of continue the story that we got in Dark Disciple. And I have actually seen the first episode because they showed it to us at the 20th anniversary of Lucasfilm animation panel. And it was incredible. And so I'm really, really excited. Only 2 more days until we get the next 5 episodes. And they're shorts. There will be 2 more featuring Ventress. So 3 featuring Ventress and 3 featuring Cad Bane, kind of in the same pattern that they've done for the last couple of years. And so I'm really, really excited for those. I love that book. And then A New Dawn, very closely following up on that. But Dark Disciple is, it's so good. If you haven't read it, highly recommend it.
Yeah, it is really good. I've read Dark Disciple. That is a damn good book. That would make a great television series, if not a 2.5-hour movie. I would watch the living heck out of that thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it was originally a Clone Wars arc, actually. It's a canceled.
It was supposed to be an arc, and then the season got canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Glad that they did the story just completely get lost. I wish we could have seen it in Clone Wars, but the book format too does the story so much justice, in my opinion. And so I'm grateful we get to see the continuation of it, though, in animation. Kind of get the best of both worlds at this point. So.
Yeah. She's right. She's absolutely right. Good, valid point. A favorite novel or novels there, Case, that you've listened to or read over the years?
It's tricky because it's difficult to beat the first, which is Bloodline by Claudia Gray. As you mention her all the time on your podcast whenever you talk about books. Claudia Gray is arguably the best Star Wars writer. So, yeah, Bloodline was actually my introduction to Star Wars books back in Jesus Christ. This is almost 10 years ago. Almost 10 years. It's like I read this book yesterday. But yeah, Bloodline was really special. Lost Stars is great. But as a massive Thrawn fan, I cannot deny the brilliance of Thrawn, simply called Thrawn, the first canon book written by Timothy Zahn, part of a trilogy. I've gone through all the trilogy. So Thrawn, Alliances, and Treason. And then the Chiss Ascendancy trilogy is also very good. And of course, the Heir of the Empire trilogy from the early 90s, which is an absolute classic. Even though it might not be canon, it's absolutely worth your time if you haven't read that one. But yeah, Thrawn. The simple answer is Thrawn.
Everything is Thrawn. Thrawn. No, I get it. Great character. Some good character arcs there for him too. For sure. Yeah, so for me, I mean, it's the one that started it all for me. My love of Star Wars novels. It's got to be Master and Apprentice. It's so good. It's iconic. And once again, Claudia Gray is the beast. She's the best. Not an honorable mention, but like my second favorite, like right next to it. I think it's almost like neck and neck. It's like saying, oh, it's a two-way. It's a tie between these two different novels, right? Lost Stars. Yeah. If you don't know what Lost Stars is, do yourself a favor. Go to the local library, go to Barnes & Noble, go to anything.
Lost Stars is probably the best introduction if you've never read a Star Wars book.
It's solid. It's a very, I would agree with that. The Lost Stars is just flipping a. That's another they're never going to do it. But hypothetically, if they made it as an animated series or a series of 10-minute shorts like they're doing with Tales of the Underworld, I think it's called, I would watch the living heck out of that thing. Like 100%, I would watch Lost Stars. Even if it's little 10-minute increments, I don't care. I will watch it because every single chapter builds upon the other within the context of that book. So if you have not read Lost Stars, treat yourself. It's going to rip your heart out, though. But it's really, really good. Right? Okay. It's so good. It's great with a capital G. Have you read this, Anjo? Have you read Lost Stars or no?
On my list. My Star Wars book list is very long, but it is pretty towards the top of the books that I'm hoping to read this year. So.
Fair enough. We'll give her that. We'll give you a free pass. It's cool. Plus, you've been on the road for a while and you just returned home and you're trying to get back to normalcy, so it's understandably so. Long trips.
These past couple of years, and I'm traveling a lot later on this year for a lot of conventions and stuff. But audiobook format is the opportunity for me to listen to a lot of these. So that's what I plan on doing with a lot of these for a lot of the train rides and flights and things like that I have coming up later this year for all my various travels. So that's where I knock my Star Wars books out.
Good planning on everyone's part to do that. Nothing wrong with that. Of course. Of all the things we've heard about the developments that are being made with TV series and movies and everything else, what piece of news or something that we know of is for the moment, or at least we know for sure is 100% concrete? This is going to happen. It's coming out very, very soon, or it's going to be right around the corner of that boulevard and that Star Wars drive. What are we most excited about when it comes to the future of Star Wars? Whether it's the books, whether it's the movies, the TV series, what piece of news has got you the most excited about Star Wars' future, Angel?
Shadow Lord, for sure. I knew that there was going to be some kind of announcement at the animation panel, which is why that was personally my biggest priority. Getting into panels at Star Wars Celebration was to be in that room, and we were very fortunate that we were able to get into that panel. And I expected an animation announcement, but didn't expect a full-length trailer, which we were shown for Maul Shadow Lord. And after having watched the trailer twice, because after the first time, Sam Witwer came out on the stage, the entire room went red, and he said, "Play it again," in his Maul voice, and that was, I got chills. And then they played the trailer again. That time there was a lot less screaming because people were actually trying to listen that time, because the first trailer, we just screamed our heads off through the whole thing because we were so excited. So that trailer was absolutely phenomenal. And Lucasfilm Animation continues to step up the animation game with Tales of the Jedi to the final couple seasons of Bad Batch. The animation quality just keeps getting better. And after seeing this trailer, oh my gosh, the animation quality itself is absolutely phenomenal. And then, of course, we have Sam Witwer coming back as Maul, and he's iconic, and he's a phenomenal voice actor. And then we have all of the intrigue surrounding what's going to happen in Maul Shadow Lord. And I won't spoil some of the things that we saw in the trailer, but I will say it definitely looks like Maul is going to be taking on an apprentice of his own. And I'm really, really excited to see where that story is going to go. I've actually been kind of anticipating a series somewhat similar to this for the last couple of years because it's been teased on and off. And I'm so hyped for the show. Anything Star Wars animation is ultimately going to be what I'm going to be the most excited about, because that's really what I love the absolute most, is when Star Wars is animated. I love all Star Wars, but the animation gets me. And so I'm just so excited that Lucasfilm Animation is coming out with a new full-length series, and I am looking forward to that coming out next year.
And as Case, double plays it in the chat, he says, "Lucky you got to see the trailer."
So lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm really, really hyped, and they teased something pretty big at the end. I won't spoil it because I think people should get to have that reveal for themselves, but it was super, super, super cool, and I'm so excited. And then Tales of the Underworld coming out in a couple of days here. I am literally living for that currently. I need Ventress, and hopefully Clem.
Oh my goodness gracious. She, like I said, Case, she was boots on the ground in that celebration. She got all the exclusives that we're not going to be able to see for a while. So yeah, Jello of Angel over here. But regardless of that, what are you excited for when it comes to the future of Star Wars, Case? Anything that's whetting your appetite, aside from the fact that Andor Season 2 is finally dropped?
It is still coming out. I can't wait for the final 6 episodes in the next couple of weeks. So first of all, I've said this before, Angel's correct. Second of all, okay, we don't have anything necessarily concrete happening, but I'm pretty sure this is going to come out, considering the popularity of The Mandalorian, the Mandoverse that they're doing, because this is what people have been speculating, and I think there's good reason for speculation that there is going to be a big Avengers type team up movie of all the shows coming together, because all of these shows are taking place around the same time. The Mandalorian, the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, Skeleton Crew, and it's all going to come together at one point in a big movie. I think, at least. Of course, we still are yet to get Mandalorian and Grogu next year on the big screen. I'm very excited for that, of course, but I have the feeling that at some point, also with Ahsoka Season 2 coming out, at some point we're going to get a movie with Thrawn as the bad guy, which is essentially the canon version of Heir to the Empire. And I can't wait for that, because Heir to the Empire is a phenomenal novel, and so are the other two. I can't remember the titles of the other two. Last Command is the final one.
Starfighter?
No, I don't remember the second one. Anyway, ends with Last Command, and we need. They're going to do several changes.
Dark Force Rising.
Yeah, Dark Force Rising. Yes, exactly. So they're going to make some changes into the story, because Rook has a very significant part in the Thrawn trilogy. I'm not going to spoil anything for people who haven't read it, but Rook is dead according to Rebels. As far as I know, Rook is dead, so he's not going to play that part. So they do need to change it up, and I think they're probably going to change it up so that also the Ghost crew is going to be more front and center rather than the original trilogy heroes, Luke, Leia, and Han, and Lando, and Chewie. But eventually that is probably going to come out as a movie, and when it is, Thrawn on the big screen, I'm going to cosplay, like make my face blue, dye my hair, shave my beard, put in red contacts. It's going to be amazing.
Well, I can kind of confirm you're right. Nothing concrete was said, but things
of
were
course not.
During the Mandalorian and Grogu panel, and Kennedy did kind of talk through the movies that are coming out, and she talked about, well, and Dave working on Ahsoka season 2, and then you have a movie that you're going to be directing eventually, right? And so I think you're absolutely correct, because I actually, since Celebration 2023, since they kind of loosely announced that Dave was going to be doing this movie, and I don't remember exactly what was said, but like she kind of alluded to that, yeah, there's going to be like this big kind of team up movie. So I think you're absolutely correct. Again, nothing concrete was said, but Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni did kind of allude to something. And so Dave's definitely doing a movie. And if Dave's doing a movie that is just Dave, I can almost 100% guarantee Ahsoka's going to be at the center of it, because, you know, girl. And I have a feeling Thrawn will be the big bad. I have a feeling you're absolutely correct. Heir to the Empire is basically going to come to the big screen, you know, with its adaptions. And so, again, nothing concrete, but like, I think you're onto something, because Kathleen Kennedy and Dave Filoni were kind of hinting at it a little bit. So I have a feeling maybe next Celebration we'll get an announcement for that. Either or it'll be announced before then, but who knows? So
yeah, I was gonna say, because you had a look on your face as if, do you know something that we don't that you want to share with the class? But she's just like, well, I don't know if I can say it, because I was, you know, sitting in the room with Kathleen the other day, and I hung out with Dave and John, and they told me certain things, and I promised them I wouldn't say anything, so I can't really say.
I always love those interviews that they do whenever they're like,
yeah, they're being cagey
in front of everyone, and like the interviewer will literally ask them, okay, so what's coming out? And then they're like, oh, we can't tell you that, but now we're going to talk for a little bit, and we're just going to give you the slightest bit of hints, because they know us Star Wars fans, we are relentless into looking into every little detail, into like replaying it and like figuring out what does it mean. And people are like, okay, there's something there. And they will figure it out, because, you know, there are just so many Star Wars fans, and they are so passionate about this. They want to find out everything, and they know exactly what they're doing with those interviews.
Well, and Star Wars fans were very right about the Starfighter movie with Ryan Gosling. I was actually, if you've seen it on my page, I'm recording myself, because I just like had a feeling something was about that was really big. And the director for that film, I can't recall his name at the moment, was like
Sean Levy.
Yeah, he's like, I just want to address some rumors about Ryan Gosling starring in this movie, and I'd like to confirm that rumor is 100% true. And Ryan Gosling walked out on the stage, and I mean, I just was like, this is not real life right now. What is happening? And I look up, and Ryan Gosling's just like standing right there. Poor guy. I don't think he like fully knew what to expect walking into Star Wars Celebration, because he was like bug-eyed. He was just kind of like, whoa, this is like a lot of nerds. It was really funny, but like he seemed pretty stoked to be there, and that was a very cool moment too. Yeah, Star Wars fans, they know where to dig. They know where to get information that Lucasfilm does not want them to have. I personally don't have those skills, but there are some people out there that they find out the info. And so yeah, that rumor was 100% true, which is so crazy, and I'm really excited about that movie. I love the idea of an independent film that is gonna you know, kind of carry on after the sequel trilogy, and I think that's gonna be really cool. And I like Ryan Gosling. I think he's a great actor, so I'm really excited to see where that's gonna go.
Yeah, you know, because there was a video game that came out years, and I forgot to ask this question earlier, like, what are some of your favorite comic books or video games surrounding Star Wars? But there was a video game called, it was like Jedi Starfighter that came out many eons ago. So when I heard that they were making this movie, it's called Star Wars Starfighter. I'm like, oh, it's a bit of a wink and a nod to some of the old school, Lucas, what do you call it? Lucas Arts video games, right? And Ryan Gosling just happens to be playing one of the pilots. And I'm just thinking to myself, well, hey, at least they got granted, if they announced this Ryan to be in the movie, of course I would have said yes. But since they got my cousin Ryan Gosling to be in the movie, I was like, sure, let my cousin get all the glory. It's cool. He gives Ryan's a good name. I can deal with that. It's cool. But yeah, when he was announced, and then he's wearing the hat that you saw, it's Star Wars Celebration. Never tell me the odds, Angel. When I saw that, I was like, oh, okay. I think he has an idea of what somewhat of an idea of what he's getting into. I mean, you're dropping the never tell me the, and then they show a picture of what his bed sheets were like when he was just 5 years old, Which I thought was funny because didn't his mom send that in to Dave Filoni at one point?
Yeah, sent it to Kathleen Kennedy, and he was like, he looked like slightly embarrassed, but also he was like, yeah, I've been a fan of the franchise for a decent while, so it was cool to see that. Yeah, I love when fans, people who've loved this forever get to be involved in it. Even big celebrities and stuff like that. So many of them talk about what a dream come true it is to get to be in Star Wars. It's like this very, kind of career, building moment, this really huge thing, and it's full circle for a lot of people. So I'm excited for him. I'm excited to see what he does, and I'm glad we get to add somebody new to our Star Wars universe. So it's really exciting.
Yeah, if they need another Ryan, just give me a call. I'll be more than happy to be Ryan Gosling's stunt double. Maybe Angel. Maybe I can have it. I don't know. But quick follow up though. Any favorite video games or comic books from Star Wars that stand out to you, Angel?
Really played any yet, and I'm starting to get into comic books. I have read the Kanan Jarrus comic series, and that would be currently my favorite, which isn't canon, but it is really cool and is interesting to contrast that with kind of the New Dawn book, and contrast some of the details with that, and then some of the details, obviously are very different from what happened after Order 66 for Kanan with the Bad Batch, and so not quite all of that is canon, but it's still really good, and I enjoyed reading that one, and I have been collecting some of the Ahsoka Series 2 comics, and of course the comic that's coming out. I haven't read it yet, but I do have the first edition I picked up recently. So getting into some of that, and I am excited to start playing through KOTOR, which I've been planning on doing for a while. So I do have that, and I'm hoping to play through that as well, because I do find a lot of those characters really cool. Again, not canon, but there's still a lot of things, really cool things to get from that. So that's a to-do for me.
Knights of the Old Republic. I dig it. Fantastic stuff. I feel like with all these things you need to read, let me see if we can bring this up here on camera, folks. So I got this at a Comic-Con recently. This is a sign that says TBR Road, which stands for To Be Read Road. I feel like Angel and maybe some other people out there need a sign and just put it on their bookshelf. Because everything you see behind me here is this. Everything you see, including The Last Command, which is part 3 of the Thrawn trilogy. You see that? So yeah, we got issues here, folks. This is all TBR, and I got this from a new friend of mine from Force Day Comic-Con in Hagerstown, Maryland. So check them out. Good people over there. I led/moderated my first ever panel at this thing, and it was quite fun. And the owner of the convention looked at me and he said, "Look, if you want to do this again for either the show next year or do it for our spinoff show in August, let me know." And I said, sounds good. Why not? Why wouldn't I want to lead or moderate a panel about fandom? Because I did something on the meaning of fandom, and that was a lot of fun. Any favorite comic books or video games, Case, from Star Wars?
In terms of comics, I had to look at my list because, yes, I have a list about these things. Otherwise, I cannot keep track of it. There are so many comics, and I'm way behind on everything. But the number one that I have is Shattered Empire. It's a story about Luke right after Return of the Jedi. I thought that was pretty good. Essentially like dealing with the remnant of the Empire right after the Battle of Endor. Another one that I really enjoyed was Vader Down. That was actually part of a comic series that they did almost a decade ago. God, I'm getting old. But like there were two comic series at the same time being released. One was the main Star Wars comic series. The other was the Vader series, and then they did a crossover between the two, which was called Vader Down, and it has arguably one of the best Vader moments in the history of Star Wars. I'm not going to say anything more than that. Just read it. It's really damn good. In terms of video games, KOTOR is amazing. Just if you're a Star Wars fan and you want probably the best story, one of the best plot twists ever, then KOTOR. I don't want to say much more than that. Battlefront 2 from 2005 is a classic, which I am going to do a playthrough for my YouTube channel this year because it's really fun, and I played it a lot when I was younger. But then 2 years ago, there was this little game called Jedi Survivor that came out, and it blew me away, and I think Survivor has now taken the top spot. I adore the character of Cal Kestis and Marin, and everyone in that. It's amazing. It's an amazing game. The unfortunate thing is, of course, if you don't have like the latest gaming system, you can't play it. But if you can find a way to play it, do so, or look through someone's playthrough of it, because the story is insane. The characters are amazing. And I really adore the lightsaber customization options.
Oh boy, lightsaber customization. I mean, but I will say this. I mean, you can learn all this stuff from video games and social media on other forums, whether it's YouTube or not. But if you want to learn how to spin your saber properly, just ask that nerdy girl over here. I mean, your lightsaber spinning skills over there, Angel, I mean, are second. I mean, they're second to none. I mean, they're incredible. They're epic. You do it better than anyone alive. And every time you post one of those videos, I'm thinking to myself, okay, how can I be as good as this? I don't know how. But at least I can try, right? Even though Yoda would always tell me, do or do not, because there is no try, right?
I do. I will say I do post tutorials. So if you're trying to get into lightsaber spinning for the first time, I have some tutorials on my page. Some of them are a little bit older, so I might be doing a newer series, just refreshing some of the basics that I've done, and then some of the more beginner. I go through intermediate moves and stuff like that. So if you're interested in starting lightsaber spinning, so.
Have to keep that in mind because the Force is strong with this one, specifically Angel. The Force is strong with this one, so keep it up. The only I've read less than a handful of graphic novels of Star Wars, but my favorite one thus far has been Darth Maul, Son of Dathomir. So if you haven't read that before, I would recommend it. I'm not going to give away any spoilers. If someone hasn't read it before, I would just say go out and get a copy, read it, enjoy it. Because I like Darth Maul. I think he's one of the better characters in Star Wars, personally, professionally, whatever. So check out some Darth Maul stories. Plus, we're getting Maul Shadow Lord now, so get ready, guys, because Sam Witwer's not going anywhere anytime soon. I think this guy's going to play this role until he's 150. And then, what is it? Ray Park is like something, 50, 60, something. He's going to do the, what do you call it? Like the motion capture, the physicality of it until he's like 100. So, right, yeah, right, Angel. So let's just keep the Darth Maul train running because I can take as many stories as they can throw at me, whether it's Son of Dathomir adaptations or something going on with, you know, some of the other characters he's come across in his life or his career, you know, whatever. So, looking forward to it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with Star Wars Starfighter. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with, obviously, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out. I'm excited about that because I'm a huge Mandalorian fan. I just like anything Mandalorian. Anything Mandalorian touches, for me anyway, turns to gold. I like the look of the suits. I like the look of the clans. I like the whole Creed thing and, you know, the armor doing her thing. And by the way, Emily Swallow, if you ever get a chance to meet her at a convention, she's one of the nicest people in the world. So, Emily Swallow, we love you and keep up the good work because you're one of the nicest people I've ever met in my career. So, with that being said, I think it's fair to say that the future of Star Wars is optimistic. I think it looks bright to a certain extent. So let's see where it goes, right? We can only go up from here, folks. But with that being said, I do want to take this opportunity to say thank you, one and all, for being a part of this special extended, I would say, episode of the Nerdy Cantina. But hey, it's May the 2nd. We're getting a jump on it early. We're celebrating May the 4th be with you. It's a lot of fun. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation. Angel, if someone wants to know more about you and keep up to date with all your mad lightsaber spinning skills and buying up collectibles, meeting some of the biggest names in Hollywood, and maybe building some, I don't know, maybe a Lego set or two here and there. Or maybe collecting more Funko Pops for that wall of fame that you have behind you or on either side of your house that we cannot see within the context of this camera. Where can they follow you?
I am NerdyGirl501 on just about every other platform that is out there. You can find TikTok, you can find me on Instagram, you can find me on my fledgling YouTube page, and you can find me on Twitter or X as well. The underscore is in a different place in a couple of those, but if you put in NerdyGirl501, I should pop up. I post a lot of mainly Star Wars content. I post a lot of lightsaber spinning content, putting together Star Wars outfits, just generally talking about Star Wars, new projects that are coming out and things like that, as well as a Friday series that I do about every other week called Faith and Fandom Fridays, where I relate fandom and all things like that to into my faith, and talk about how I think those two things can combine together. So yeah, if you want to follow along, am still posting a lot of my Star Wars Celebration content too, so you can find a lot of that there.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you being here, Angel. You're awesome. You got a lot of things going for you. We wish you nothing but success with everything going on moving forward. I'm going to talk to you here again momentarily. Case, the man, the myth, the legend. If someone wants to know more about you or keep up to date with some of the great things you got going on your YouTube channel, and if someone's looking for a video editor or graphic designer, I hear you're the man to call. So where can they follow you?
Well, on my YouTube channel, The Dutch Star Wars Guy, as it's spelled right here. And tomorrow, Ryan, please throw up the thumbnail. There we go. We are going to do a special watch-along of Revenge of the Sith combined with the Clone Wars because, as Ryan just said, I'm a bit of an editor. I edited together the final arc of the Clone Wars with Revenge of the Sith, and I want to essentially do a watch-along of that. I have several people joining me for that in honor of May the 4th, in honor of the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. We're going to do this tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern. It is a long one because it's almost 4 hours long with everything combined, but I think those 4 hours fly by. It's a really fun watch. If you like Revenge of the Sith, if you like the Clone Wars, come join us. We have a great panel of people, and if you need a copy of it, I made a video a while ago on my channel where there's a link to how you can get that. So if you need a copy of it, you can download it through there, and then you can watch it with us. So please come join us tomorrow for that on my YouTube channel. That's about all I have to say.
That's going to be exciting stuff. Congratulations on that, by the way. And that's a ridiculously good-looking thumbnail, just like the one you put together for this show and all the other shows that you've done in the past, in the present, and in the future. So thank you, kind sir. Going to speak to you again here momentarily. Thank you, Case. You're the man. My name is Ryan of Anti-Co Channel. Follow me across all forms of social media simply at Anti-Co Channel, which is written. Where am I pointing to? Right there. There it is. Anti-Co Channel is where you can follow me on all forms, of social media. Yeah, I like to display different books for specific shows. So we have The Last Command, which is book 3 of the Thrawn trilogy, the original From Heir to the Empire. Lunar Logic is written by a good friend of ours, Adina Mignona. She's a sci-fi author, indie sci-fi author, I should say. So check her out at adinamignona.com. That's her name right there. For sure, so check her out. We're also on the way to 5,000. Once we do, we'll throw a great big live stream that will include special giveaways. The person who's watching or listening to this right now is going to be eligible to win. We also have merch. We have hoodies and shirts and stickers that you can add to your water bottles, or we also have coffee mugs available to you, as well as many other pieces of merch you can add to your home or your car, your classroom, whatever it may be, maybe even the office space. There's a name for you. So you can check all that out. Links are in the description below. Links where you can follow Case, myself, and Angel, located in the description below. So check it out. This has been a lot of fun. Do not forget, Free Comic Book Day is on the first Saturday of May of every year. So May 3rd, 2025 will be Free Comic Book Day at your local comic shop. Check them out. They're going to have free comics available to every single person who walks through their doors, respectively. They may have some Star Wars comics available. So if you have a comic book store in your area, Case, Angel, you may want to catch some Star Wars comics, because Christy, I believe she said she's going to be checking that out. And I'm going to be hanging out with some friends of mine this weekend, so we're going to be checking that out as well. But thank you for joining us. This has been a great episode. We got so many movie watch-alongs planned. We got so many episodes of Anti-Quote, which include special interviews with some of the best indie creators in the world. They're going to be featured here on Anti-Quote Channel here in the coming weeks, if not months. And as Case pointed out, end of May, we're going to be doing the 45th anniversary watch-along for The Empire Strikes Back. So there's a lot of Star Wars stuff coming your way. It's going to be very exciting, among many other things as well. So do not forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell to be notified when the video goes up or they go live. And happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. And remember this, the Force will be with you always. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the Nerdy Cantina.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello tonight.
Just me.
Have you been with us before?
First time.
Oh, you picked a great night.
Where are you going, Master? For a drink?
Get all worked up, silly. It's a party.
Hey everyone, Bonnie Gordon from Star Trek Prodigy here. Make sure to tune into And I Quote podcast on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe.